some sort. You know, we just don't know it.
So to update Mr. Morgan here, where we're at, and to clarify, we'll authorize a resolution that will request the legislature to give us the authority to go through the process, again, on the 1 cent sales tax. The specifics of this tax it will be a 6-year term on it, you know, to come up at minimum every 6 years, or at most, I guess, every 6 years. We will have the authority, hopefully, to choose which ad valorem we rescind on that during the term of that tax. And that by resolution, we will specify where those dollars are to be spent for that 6-year term. So, is that?
And we'll hold community meetings to get input on it.
Right. So questions or comments, is that?
We could use the community meetings as a beating drum to see what people prefer as far as deductions.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
If they'll allow us.
If they'll allow us to have that, you know, authority to make that decision at that time.
Right. And I think it would.
Yeah. So, do we have a motion then to authorize that resolution? Motion, do we have a second?
Second that motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.
We're looking at a $900,000 budget deficit next year, with the additional TVA drops for the next year. So, you know, it'll take our reserves to maintain
fully fund
doing,
ours.
to maintain.
Right. The reserves we have left.
Right, or we take that $450,000 and we'll have, you know, $500,000-600,000 sitting in reserves if we fully fund and level fund what we've done this year without, you know, the TVA new bill passing, which would give us, what, around $300,000, I think,
Well, that was
On the
last
new one.
year.
on the new one.
You gotta
I
cut
think it's
that.
gonna be less than that now.
Yeah, I
it's
think
gonna
we
be-
had figured on the 2014 monies it was about $340,000, so
It's
with
gonna
the,
be less, yeah.
The 5%.
No,
Yeah.
on the,
on the new bill,
The new
doing away with
TVA bill.
discretionary spending money, we're not getting the full discretionary spending money. Some of it going to municipalities, some of it's going to education, so.
The 5%
And that can
admin,
be considered in all this.
Right.
Yeah.
the 5% admin is just pertaining to Scottsboro City Schools and Jackson County Board of Education.
It's strictly.
That's the only thing it pertains to.
That's all it affects.
I wouldn't be in favor, I understand what you're saying, I would not be in favor of pulling it immediately. You know, give them a year budget worth of notice, saying, our hands are tied, we have no choice. You know, I'm not saying take it this time, they've already, you know, they've got things to do with it.
That's
Well,
all.
that ain't
We
what-
weren't expecting
That ain't
it.
what I was saying, but my point is we either, not that I'm trying to be hurtful, but it's either that or we run a budget deficit. So as long as everybody's in here prepared to go back to a budget
There's gonna be a
deficit.
budget
We're gonna
deficit
budget
anyway.
deficit regardless.
We're gonna have to
I'm
fund
not-
it
Is it
through
gonna be
reserve.
400,000 or is it, well,
It's gonna be
That's the
900.
question, what are we gonna do?
70,000.
But, and that's,
But we could do it for 1 year with what we retain,
That's all we can afford
and
to
give
do.
them time to say, this is coming, and maybe not budget for it the next fiscal year.
We can afford to give them 1 year advance
And
notice.
then we would have to probably look at retaining it,
right.
I think.
okay, the next item is, on our senior RX building. This is another thing. A lot of this is, I've kinda held off talking much about because, of course, there's always the hope that we get the tax passed. I think this is another thing, if again, we see this tax doesn't pass, I think this is something that we have to do. And that is, dispense with the building that we have on Highway 72. Now, it is very costly to us, and it may be something we wanna look at before then. But the negative in that is that it is where the extension office is located. So if we get rid of that building or try to sell it or whatever, that puts them out of a home, or they'll have to negotiate a home with somebody else. You've also got Red Cross in there, you've got Community Action, and then I think Forestry is in there, is that right?
Forestry's at solid waste.
Oh, who's out there? Wildlife, fishing game, someone like that.
Fishing games at solid
Is
waste.
that who it is? Okay.
And both of them, forestry and,
I thought
Yeah.
forestry-
I seen the trucks and I don't.
Well, I saw their forestry
The
division.
dozer and stuff, remember we put the building
Yeah,
up
but do they have their offices over there?
in the solid waste building?
They've
The
got,
whole thing on
we've
the
got,
left, if you go to the left, that's,
Okay.
we've got one state office like that out there as well, in addition to these other things. So we could fit the senior RX in the current council on aging building. But until we come up with a solution for all those, or if we say we're gonna do something. So this is another thing we need to be thinking about. Do we wanna pursue this one? If we do we wanna try to locate a place for these folks to go, or do we want to say, we've got, again, I don't think we need to just kick them out, tomorrow. But do we wanna say, you've got so many months to make some arrangements? Again, this is the decision we're looking for today, but I wanted to open it up and see what we
A lot of